Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? Just gonna be bringing you a video series that I have been wanting to do for a long time. And it is the Dirt How-To series. So basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna be bringing you tips and tricks and just kind of the basics of how to drive each dirt car. I've been asked about doing it a lot, and I've been talking about doing it. I've said I'm gonna do it, and I haven't done it yet. But now I'm finally working on it. I'm hoping to release an entire series each day that it comes out. Like, I want to release all of the basics of how to drive the dirt late model, which is what the first thing that I'll be working on is, and then the very next thing I plan on releasing is going to be the how to drive UMP modifieds, and then I want to do big block modifieds and then dirt sprint cars, and then we're just going to play it by ear and go from there. I'm going to be doing all of them at the dirt track at Charlotte to start with. That's where I'm going to be showing the how to drive the car, and then once we get through the how to drive the car series, we're going to do the how to drive the track series. So then I'm going to go and I'm going to do a 0% track, a 25% track, a 75% track, and then 100% track is going to be the next series that comes out, and I'm going to be going through each and every dirt track that we have to date, including the newest track, Bristol Dirt. So like I said, we're going to be starting here at Charlotte, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so to be doing this, I'm going to be doing all of these on the baseline setups for each track that I do, for each car that I do. I'm going to do everything on a baseline setup specific to that track. So I'm going to be so we're here at Bristol, we're going to be using the Bristol Dirt iRacing given setup. So with that being said, you see it up there, identical. Yeah, okay, you can see it, identical to Charlotte Dirt. As what we're going to be running. You notice I've not even taken fuel out of it. I've not changed the gear. I've not done anything to the setup yet. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop on the track here. And we're going to get a few laps in. So the first thing I want to show you guys, first thing I want to work on is what a lap around the track should look like. So you see here, coming out of turn number 4, out of the middle of the track, we're up the wall. 20.859. And then we're going to go down to the bottom of the track right here. And you'll notice I'm not full throttle all the way around the track. If you've got your own setup, it is possible to do it, but I am not. Alright, so we got our session best lap up there. We turned a 16.15. We turned, I believe it was 2 laps, and that includes the out lap pulling out of the pits here on iRacing in a test session. Yes, okay. So 15.615 was our quickest lap right there. That was what we just ran, and that is going to be basically our base set. You'll notice I did not go full throttle all the way around the track. Could you go full throttle? Yes, you could. Would it be fast? Not with the baseline setup. The baseline setup can be, it really can be a very competitive setup. It can be quick. The issue that you're going to run into is how to drive that baseline setup. If you don't drive the baseline setup just right, then you end up not getting all the potential out of the baseline setup. iRacing's baseline is not a bad setup. It's not. Contrary to popular belief, everybody says, well, I have no ability to be competitive. I can't get a good race in because I have no setups and I don't know how to build a setup. You really don't have to. iRacing's baseline is a quick, competitive setup. Is it a winning setup in top split? Probably not. But it is a fast, it is a competitive, it is a valid setup worth running. With all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dial this back. We're going to go to where we first pulled out of the pits here, and I want to show you a couple of things. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go in car here. As soon as I find a cockpit view, we're going to go in car. And you'll notice there, I didn't use the brake to rotate the car. Yes, this is initial fire, but this is also valid for taking off. With the baseline setup, at least, I almost never actually use the brake. It is a common method, and it is a method that I use with my own personal setups, which we might get into later. But prior to that, I'm going to show you this here. You'll notice that I'm going around the corner. Yes, I'm getting ready to take off. There's full throttle. The car's not really rotating. I let off, and then the car starts to rotate. That is where I got back on the throttles or came out of the turn, down the straightaway, full throttle. As I enter the corner, you'll notice that my throttle backs off right here. I went down to about half throttle. Now I'm running about 3/4 throttle around the turn, and then slowly rolling back into it and giving it more throttle until I'm pointing down the straightaway, and that is when I go back to full throttle. When I see the straightaway, when I'm pointing down the straightaway, that's when I go back. Right there, I went all the way down to 1/4 throttle to rotate in to get the car back to the bottom of the track. I'm running about 3/4, a little bit over, and just slowly rolling back into the throttle. As I get pointed down the straightaway, I go back full throttle. Now you'll notice something that I did right there. See, my wheel's pointed to the right. I'm actually pointing at the wall there. I'm not pointing straight down the straightaway. And as the car pitched to the right, that is where I turned back left. What that did is that created a weight transfer. They call it Scandinavian flick. It's used in rally racing a lot. I use it a lot here in the dirt late models. As the car pointed to the right, I brought it back to the left. I know this is a lot of information to take in, but I'm going to go through it step by step. So there's a couple of different things that I would like to encourage you to work on. They're not pertinent to you being quick. They're not pertinent to you being able to drive the car, but they will help. I have the Outlaw Boss School of Dirt, and I've used this method several times. I've taken a driver who couldn't turn a single lap in a dirt late model of any kind. I put him in a super late model, the highest horsepower super late model, and one of the toughest cars on iRacing to drive. I took him around the track for about 5 or 6 laps at pace speed. I explained to him what to do, and I showed him these drills. He took a few laps around the track running these drills, and in 10 minutes time, he was able to turn 10 consecutive laps. So these are very valid, these are very arguable techniques to work on, to try, and I'm going to show you just how to do them. So as you roll out onto the track, you're going to roll on, just come right to the middle and maintain about a 40 mile an hour pace speed, which is about pace speed for racing. It's 35 to 40 miles an hour. When you come to the straightaway, I want you to gas it up and turn the wheel left, come off, turn to the right. You'll notice I'm on the throttle fully and then back off. And the one thing that I'm not doing is I'm not losing control of the car. You notice even when I bring it back to center, I had full control over the car. Not at any point in time did I lose control of the car. Now it's very easy, especially if you start this way, it's very easy to loop it around like that and not be able to bring it back. So with that said, if you go around the track a few times and you do this for a little while until you can get and maintain a full control over your vehicle, that is going to help you to access the ability to set the car into the corner and actually maintain control of the car around the corner and maintain a line. Believe it or not, it helps so much more than what you might think. That one drill will literally teach you how to set the car into the corner via weight transfer, the Scandinavian flick, which is what I often use. The next drill that I want you to work on, that I want you to practice on, feel free to pause this video at any point in time so you can work on these. Now, the next drill, as I was saying, that I want you to work on, practice on, is when you come out of the turns, I want you to gas it up, down the straightaway, aim for the center of the corner, and then come completely off of it and go around the corner. And maintain that line when you come off of it. Full throttle, aim for the center, and without losing control at all, I want you to come to the center and exit on the center. And allow your throttle to bring that car back up to the top of the track. If you slide up the track, or you slide down the track when you come off the throttle, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. I want you to be able to maintain your car right in the center of the track without losing your line, without losing control of the car. Being able to drive the car and have control of the car is more than just not hitting another driver on the track. It's more than not hitting the wall. It's more than not spinning out. It is maintaining a steady line around the corner. So you'll come full throttle, and you'll go into the corner. It takes small corrections all the way around the corner to be able to do this. You might look at it, you might be like, well, that's simple stuff to be able to do that without losing control of the car, or without doing this, without doing that. It really and truly is, yes. But it is not as simple as you might think it is to be able to do it without changing your line. It's very easy to shoot down the track. It's very easy to shoot up the track. The cars like to push sometimes. Sometimes they like to spin out. And a lot of times they like to do that without throttle. You've noticed how I've been turning the car into the turn is with less throttle. So that being said, if you've got less throttle to turn the car into the corner, even less throttle all the way down to no throttle theoretically should make you turn even more. So by being able to grab the car and have it come back down to a steady pace speed without losing control of the car is going to make a massive difference in your driving. And then as you get that, go all the way into the corner before you let off the throttle, and just slowly start picking up the pace. As you slowly begin to pick up the pace, rolling right through the center of the corner, you will then be able to start getting faster and faster and shortening your lap times down more and more and more. As you slowly get quicker, you'll notice the car pitching further and further into the corner. With the car pitching further and further into the corner, you're going to want to learn where you need to roll into the throttle. Now, once you've got it down to where you feel like you can get around the corner without losing control, after you back it back down and you start giving it more throttle, the next thing you're going to want to work on is getting a full set on the car and knowing when to rotate back. So that being said, when you set your car into the corner, the best advice that I can give you is not the Scandinavian flick like I do, where you quickly rotate to the right and rotate to the left. It's to bring it to a 90-degree turn to the left, and you'll see even at a slow pace, it automatically wanted to pitch the car. So I'll show you really quickly here. With a 90-degree rotation to the left, and then quickly back to the right, it brought my car back to center. To the left, put my car in, and then brought us right back. 90 degrees, and then bringing it right back. 90 degrees into the corner, and then bringing it right back. Now, is this always going to be the case? No, it is not. Now, there are a lot of times that you're going to be stuck on the high side and you're not going to want to do a full 90 degrees rotation. There are some times that I've been in situations where I'm 3-4 wide and the track is really slick and I don't use the steering wheel to turn left at all. There are times that I use the throttle to turn left. I just give it more throttle and it turns the car. With the track being slick and being banked, the cars automatically want to turn left with the way that these cars are built. A lot of times I'll just give it more gas, and then there's other times that I'll give it more brake, which we will cover all of that in a later video. So with all of that being said, I want you to practice all of that and eventually work your way into getting consistent, decent timed laps just by simply rotating right around the center, maybe a little bit towards the bottom.
18.981.
Just rolling that line right around that area right there.
.623.
Once you're able to maintain the same steady, consistent line, you'll then be set to be able to start turning laps and be able to be quicker and eventually become competitive. And then once you get all that, we can start working on setups and learn how to set up the cars. So again, 15 minutes into the recording, I'm going to go ahead and go over everything that I have showed. We're going to do it all from a far chase. So the first drill that I said I'm going to have you work on is get your car to rotate back and forth on a steady axis. And do all this in a test session. Please do not do this in a hosted unless you've got somebody there with you that's going to work with you. Do not do it in a hosted. Do not, please do not do it in an official. Just sit there and get your car rotating left or right, just like you saw there. And once you get that down, get to where you've got a full control over the left and right rotation. We'll go back and I'll show you in slow motion once again how my throttle is working during that rotation. You'll notice as the car comes back, I full throttle it, and then I come right back off, full throttle, right back off, full throttle, right back off. And that is where I'm bringing the car left to right, left to right. As I go to rotate the car, I'm trying to get my rear wheel spin so that I can send the car left and right. And then the next thing that I said I wanted you to work on is when you bring your car around the corner. As you bring your car around the corners, I want you to come out and I want you to set down at full throttle. Not half throttle, not a quarter throttle. I want you to go full throttle and then back it back down and maintain a steady line through the center of the turn. Bring it to the center of the track from up by the wall. Bring it back down to the middle of the turn and maintain that line around the middle of the turn as you see me doing right here. Then once you get through doing all of that, you start actually turning slightly proper laps. Slowly gaining speed, slowly getting faster, and learning where to counter steer the car and just how much counter steer to give it. Remember, when you turn that wheel to the left 90 degrees, you don't want to turn it too far to the left at 90 degrees. You just want to bring it or too quickly to the left. You just want to bring it 90 degrees until your car starts to rotate, and then you want to bring it back at the same pace that the car is rotating. If you bring it back too quickly, you're going to straighten your car back out. So you just bring it back to the left at a steady pace, at fairly the same pace that your car is rotating. At a shorter track, that's going to be much faster than what it is at a longer track or a track with more sweeping turns. So all that being said, the fastest lap that I have turned here today was a 15.615. You see it up there on the top left. It's highlighted in red as 15.615. With all that said, I want to show you once again. Yes, you can go full throttle around this track. I will show you that here. We'll go full throttle and show you the difference between a full throttle lap and a lap that has full control over the car. So I'm going to roll out of this turn as if I'm taking the green flag. We'll do about 40 miles an hour. Green flag is out. I'll go into this full throttle.
23.597.
So this lap at full throttle, you see I'm already a tenth off of my quick time in this session. I'm having a hard time even getting the car to the bottom of the track. Now this lap, I'm going to roll my throttle just right. And you notice I went from I don't even know what those two laps were, to be honest with you. But the lap where I controlled my throttle more and I was more conscious on the throttle, I gained a decent amount more speed. I went from a 15.592 at full throttle to a 15.571 by controlling my throttle. Now granted, yes, you did see it there, but as I went into the corner, you'll notice that I gained a lot of speed on entry and then lost some of it, but the problem is that I had a lot of wheel spin and I lost some of that time on exit. And then in 3 and 4, you notice the two sides of the track are not completely identical. They're not 100% identical at almost any dirt track you go to. That being said, you'll notice that I actually had more speed through 3 and 4 full throttle than what I did through 1 and 2, and I had more speed through 1 and 2 with controlled throttle than what I did in 3 and 4. I actually lost time on my controlled throttle through 3 and 4. So with that being said, sometimes it is more beneficial to go full throttle. There are times and situations where going full throttle is going to be faster. That's Knoxville, Eldora, sometimes even Charlotte, depending on your setup, it is going to be faster to go full throttle. Keep that in mind. Think about that sometimes when you're out there on track, and take your time. Don't rush yourself. Don't say, oh, well, I'm not getting to 15.5s. Now, mind you, I just did that on a baseline setup. So don't beat yourself up over not being super quick right off the bat. Don't beat yourself up if it takes you time. Don't beat yourself up if it takes you months or years even. Some of the best drivers out there today spent years and years and years on the track doing nothing but losing races. Keep that in mind. Go out there, take your time, practice. There is no substitute for seat time. No substitute for it at all. So with all of that said, I hope this video helps you. I hope you go out there and you go to a test session and you practice, 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 practice. Take your time and have fun. That is the most important thing. Have fun. With that, I thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.